A. The ship limped through space, its hull scared and systems failing. Inside, Commander Sarah Chen watched Earth grow larger in the viewscreen. She was the only one left. 3 months ago, the Odyssey had made history as humanity's first faster-than-light vessel. Its mission was simple: explore beyond our solar system and find new worlds. Nobody expected to find 16 alien species already watching us. "Approaching Earth orbit, Commander," said the AI. Its voice crackled through damaged speakers. Sarah nodded, her face grim. The wound on her arm had stopped bleeding, but the pain remained, a constant reminder of what happened, what she had seen, what she needed to tell Earth. "Begin transmission to all major government channels," she ordered. Priority Alpha. Within hours, leaders from every nation gathered in an emergency video conference. Sarah's face, cut and bruised, filled their screens. "The galactic hegemony exists," she began simply. 16 species united in an alliance. They have been watching us for decades. She paused. "And they have decided we are a threat." She played the video footage, the diplomatic meeting on the massive alien station. The tall, insect-like Vesperi representatives suddenly drawing weapons. The massacre of the human delegation. And finally, the Vesperi commander's words, translated by their AI. "The humans cannot be allowed to join the galactic community. The prophecy must not come true." The room fell silent as Sarah continued. "They claim we fired first. They're broadcasting across their networks that humans are violent savages who attacked without provocation." Her voice hardened. "It's a lie. I have the unaltered footage to prove it." "How much time do we have?" asked the American president. 3 months, maybe less," Sarah replied. "They're mobilizing a quarantine fleet. After that will come the invasion force." The Chinese premier leaned forward. "What are our chances against their technology?" Sarah's laugh was hollow. "Their smallest ships could destroy our entire fleet. Their weapons can crack planets." She took a deep breath. "But they made a mistake. They left a survivor." Within days, the Terran Defense Coalition formed. Old enemies became allies under the shadow of extinction. Military forces unified. Scientists worked around the clock studying the alien technologies Sarah had managed to steal during her escape. 30 days later, the Coalition's deep space scanners detected the first hegemony warships entering the solar system. Massive vessels, each one bigger than the largest aircraft carrier, positioned themselves in a blockade formation. Sarah stood in the Coalition's underground command center, watching the alien ships on the giant monitor. Behind her, generals and admirals prepared Earth's defenses. They all knew it wasn't enough. "Commander Chen," called a young lieutenant, "Dr. Wei from research wants to see you immediately. He says it's about the artifacts you brought back." Sarah nodded, her mind racing. She had smuggled more than just video footage from the alien station. There were data chips, weapon fragments, and strange devices the scientists were still trying to understand. As she left the command center, emergency sirens began to wail. On the monitors, more hegemony ships appeared. The countdown to humanity's greatest challenge had begun. Earth had 3 months to prepare for a war they couldn't win against an enemy that wanted them extinct. Dr. Marcus Wei hadn't slept in 3 days. His lab, buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, was filled with alien artifacts. The walls were covered with charts, diagrams, and strange symbols. "Look at this again," he told his team, pointing to a holographic display. The image showed 2 DNA strands side by side. Human DNA on the left, the alien sample from what they call predecessor artifacts on the right. Dr. Amara Singh leaned closer, her eyes widening. "They're similar, too similar for it to be random." Marcus nodded. "Exactly. We share genetic markers with these predecessors, a species that supposedly created life across the galaxy before they disappeared." The lab doors slid open. Commander Sarah Chen walked in, her arm now in a proper cast. Her face showed the strain of endless emergency meetings. Please tell me you have good news, Doctor, she said. Marcus gestured to the hologram. We might know why the Vesperi attacked us. Look at these DNA comparisons. Sarah studied the display. I'm not a scientist. What am I seeing? We're related to the predecessors, Marcus explained. The artifacts you brought back contain genetic records. The Vesperi religious texts call the predecessors' descendants abominations that must be destroyed. Sarah sat down heavily. So this isn't about resources or territory. It's about what we are. There's more, Marcus continued. He tapped a tablet, and the display changed to show brain scans. Human neural architecture is unique. We can form connections and pathways that other species can't. He walked to a large object covered by a tarp and pulled it away. Underneath was what looked like a pilot's chair surrounded by wires and metal frames. This is a neural interface prototype. We reverse-engineered it from the alien tech you brought back. When connected, the human mind can directly control machines. The aliens use similar technology, but their brains can't handle a full integration. Ours can. Sarah stared at the device. How does this help us fight? Marcus smiled for the first time in days. Imagine a fighter pilot who doesn't use controls but thinks commands directly to the ship. Reaction times reduced to milliseconds, or soldiers controlling combat robots with just their thoughts. How soon can it be ready? We need volunteers for testing. It's dangerous, untested technology. Sarah immediately sat in the chair. Start with me. Meanwhile, in orbit, the alien blockade tightened. The hegemony ships now numbered over 50, their weapons aimed at Earth. In the secret command center, General Harris studied the latest intelligence reports. They're preparing landing forces, ground invasion in less than 2 weeks. The communication officer raised her hand. Sir, we're receiving a transmission. It's not from the hegemony ships. Put it through, ordered the general. The screen flickered to life, showing a slender, blue-skinned alien with large eyes. I am Tellus of the Arcturian Confederation. The alien said in careful English. My people disagree with the hegemony's actions. There are others who believe humanity deserves a chance. We wish to help. For the first time since the crisis began, a small hope appeared. Humanity wasn't completely alone in the galaxy after all. Evacuation is at 87%, reported Colonel James Dias. The massive underground bunker on Mars was filled with activity as the last transport ships arrived. General Harris nodded grimly. And Earth's defenses. Automated systems are in place. The cities appear normal from orbit, holographic projections and drone movement. The hegemony won't know they're attacking empty targets. For the past month, the Terran Defense Coalition had secretly moved key personnel to Mars and the moons of Jupiter and Saturn. Scientists, soldiers, engineers, and their families. The seeds of humanity's future hidden away from alien scanners. On the command screen, hundreds of red dots appeared near Earth. The hegemony invasion fleet had arrived. It's starting, someone whispered. Earth's defense platforms opened fire, but they were quickly overwhelmed. Hegemony ships entered the atmosphere, landing troops in major cities around the world. The aliens met minimal resistance, exactly as planned. Commander Chen watched from the Mars Command Center, her jaw tight. The neural interface Dr. Wei had developed was now a small implant at the base of her skull. 20,000 soldiers had received similar implants. They've taken the bait, she said. Activate the nanite swarms. On Earth, the alien troops secured empty buildings and streets. Their commanders were confused by the lack of resistance. Then their environmental suits began to fail. Microscopic machines, developed using predecessor technology, attacked the specific materials and systems the aliens relied on to survive in Earth's atmosphere. Panic spread through the invading forces. The hegemony commanders ordered orbital bombardment of major cities, destroying their own troops along with Earth's empty buildings. Meanwhile, on Mars, Dr. Wei stood before the first generation of neural combat mechs, 12-foot-tall machines of metal and composite materials. They resembled ancient knights, armed with weapons reverse-engineered from alien technology. The neural link allows perfect control, he explained to the assembled pilots. Your mind becomes the mech. You'll feel what it feels, move as it moves. Commander Chen stepped forward, now wearing a sleek combat suit. Today we fight back. The hegemony thinks humanity is cowering on a dying Earth. They don't know we're here. They don't know what we've built. 500 mechs launched from the hidden Martian base, their pilots mentally fused with their machines. The hegemony had left only a small force to guard Mars, not expecting any resistance. The Battle of Olympus Mons lasted just 3 hours. Human forces, using technology they barely understood, destroyed alien ships and troops with shocking efficiency. Neural-linked pilots reacted faster than any alien could, their movements unpredictable and lethal. When it was over, Mars belonged to humanity again. In the hegemony flagship orbiting Earth, the Vesperi High Commander received the news with disbelief. Impossible, he chittered to his officers. How could primitive humans defeat our forces? The communication screen suddenly activated, showing Commander Chen's face. This is just the beginning, she said calmly. You came to exterminate us. You failed. Now learn what happens when humanity fights back. As the transmission ended, alarms blared across the alien fleet. Human ships were emerging from hidden bases on the moon and asteroids, attacking with devastating precision. The war had truly begun. The Vesperi High Commander slammed his clawed fist against the war table. 3 human colonies destroyed, yet the resistance grew stronger. The reports from Earth were troubling. Guerrilla fighters with technology that shouldn't exist. Enough, he hissed. Implement the final protocol. His officers exchanged nervous glances. One spoke up. The Hegemony Council has not approved biological weapons. I am not asking for permission, the commander replied coldly. Hours later, black pods fell through Earth's atmosphere. They burst open miles above the surface, releasing clouds of engineered microbes that targeted human DNA. Cities still holding resistance fighters fell silent as billions died in what would later be called the Great Purge. Sarah Chen, now admiral of the hastily formed Terran fleet, received the news in the war room on Titan. Her face showed no emotion, but her hands trembled slightly. How many? She asked quietly. Early estimates suggest 4.3 billion casualties, reported her intelligence officer. Most major population centers on Earth have been hit. The room fell silent. Then Sarah spoke in a voice like steel. We're done playing by their rules. She turned to her staff. Deploy the gravity weapons. Target command ships only. A young officer stepped forward. Admiral, those weapons haven't been fully tested. We don't know. I know exactly what they'll do. Sarah cut him off. The aliens showed us what this war is really about. Now we show them. The experimental gravity distortion bombs, based on predecessor technology, created temporary black holes that crushed everything within their radius. 5 hegemony command ships disappeared before they understood what was happening. Meanwhile, Dr. Wei had made another breakthrough. In a secured lab on Europa, he displayed his latest creation to the military council. Self-replicating hunter-killer drones the size of insects. They target specific alien physiologies, he explained. Once deployed, they'll replicate using available materials and hunt down their assigned species. General Harris frowned. This crosses a line, Doctor. They crossed the line first. Wei responded, his voice bitter. I lost my entire family in the Great Purge. 4 billion people are dead. There are no more lines. The war escalated rapidly. Human forces, now fighting without restraint, recaptured Mars and began pushing toward Earth. Admiral Chen's fleet, though smaller than the hegemonies, struck with terrible precision. No aliens were taken prisoner. Surrender was not accepted. During the Battle of Earth's orbit, human forces captured an intact hegemony data core. The intelligence it contained shocked even the hardened military leaders. Multiple hegemony species supported the Vesperi's first attack, reported the analyst. They've been monitoring us for decades. They're afraid of us. Why? Asked General Harris. There's something called the predecessor prophecy. It speaks of descendants who will unmake the stars themselves. They believe we're those descendants. Sarah Chen stood at the viewport, watching Earth below, once blue and green, now scared and brown. Her homeworld, poisoned and broken. She made a decision. If they want monsters, she said quietly, we'll give them monsters. The human counterattack began the next day. The galaxy would soon learn to fear the species they had tried to exterminate. Earth was dying. The biological weapons had done more than kill humans. They had poisoned the soil and water. Mars was under constant attack. Humanity needed a new home. Admiral Sarah Chen stood before the Emergency Council on Titan. Her face was thinner now, with new scars and eyes that had seen too much horror. The Exodus Protocol is our only option, she said firmly. We've been building colony ships in the Orc cloud for months. It's time to use them. General Harris frowned. Evacuate the entire remaining human population. To where? The far reaches of the galaxy, Sarah replied. Areas the hegemony doesn't control. We scatter, we hide, we rebuild. The vote was unanimous. The greatest evacuation in human history began immediately. Thousands of ships, military vessels, converted cargo haulers, anything that could fly, gathered survivors from Earth, Mars, and the moon bases. The Ragdig fleet, carrying 15 million humans, began its desperate journey toward the edge of the solar system. The hegemony detected the movement. A massive alien fleet moved to intercept them near Neptune. They've cut us off, reported Sarah's tactical officer. 400 ships against our 70. Sarah's expression didn't change. Deploy the neural-linked fighters. I'll lead them myself. Dr. Wei, now partly machine himself with cybernetic enhancements, had created a new generation of fighters. The small ships were piloted by humans with advanced neural implants, their minds directly connected to their vessels. This is Admiral Chen to all pilots. Sarah's voice came through the comm system as she settled into her neural cradle. The colony fleet must reach the jump point. We buy them time, whatever it takes. What followed was the legendary Battle of Neptune's Rings. Human pilots, moving with impossible speed and coordination through their neural links, tore through alien formations. They could predict enemy movements before they happened, react faster than any organic being. The hegemony commanders couldn't understand how they were losing to inferior technology. Meanwhile, Dr. Wei unveiled his final contribution to the war effort. Enhanced soldiers with machine integration. Faster, stronger, and able to heal from wounds that would kill normal humans. The 1st Battalion deployed to protect the colony ships from boarding parties. Despite humanity's fierce defense, the battle was being lost. Too many alien ships, too many weapons. The colony fleet was halfway to the jump point when the hegemony broke through. Admiral Chen made her decision. She directed her flagship, the Revenge Asterisk, straight toward the heart of the enemy fleet. Get the colonists through. She ordered the rest of her forces. I'll give them something else to worry about. The Revenge Asterisk plunged into the enemy formation, its experimental drive core overloading. The resulting explosion destroyed a third of the hegemony fleet and created a hole for the colony ships to escape. Sarah Chen's final transmission was broadcast to every human vessel. They brought extinction. We bring retribution. The colony fleet escaped, jumping to predetermined coordinates scattered across the galaxy. Humanity had lost its home but survived. And in the darkness between the stars, they began to plan their return. 5 years passed. Humanity survived, hidden at the edges of the galaxy. On the ice world of Beta Hydri II, Dr. Marcus Wei stood in his laboratory. His body was now more machine than human. Metal arms, synthetic eyes, and a brain enhanced with neural processors. Around him trained the Ghost Legion, soldiers with similar enhancements. The neural integration is complete, he told his assistant. These soldiers can operate without sleep for weeks. Their reaction time is 8 times faster than a normal human. Across the stars, humans adapted differently on each colony. The miners of Epsilon Eridani turned their frozen world into a fortress, building their cities inside massive ice caverns with weapon platforms disguised as natural formations. Admiral Kenzo Chen, daughter of the legendary Sarah Chen, commanded the growing human fleet from the hidden shipyards of Proxima Centauri. She studied reports of successful raids against hegemony shipping lanes. Hit-and-run tactics are working, her tactical officer noted. We strike, we vanish. They can't predict where we'll appear next. The raids followed a pattern, quick, brutal, and leaving no survivors. Human ships would appear from nowhere, destroy their targets with ruthless efficiency, and disappear before reinforcements arrived. Soon, alien merchants refused to travel without heavy escorts. In the hegemony capital, the council chamber echoed with angry voices. This war was a mistake, declared the Arcturian diplomat. We attacked them without cause. Now we face endless guerrilla warfare. The Vesperi representative hissed. The humans must be exterminated. The prophecy. Your prophecy has cost us dearly, interrupted the Tellurian archivist, his blue skin glowing faintly with emotion. 3 trade routes abandoned. 2 outer colonies destroyed. For what? Fear of ancient myths. The council was fracturing. Several species now questioned both the morality and wisdom of the war against humanity. Later that night, the archivist sent an encrypted message to a human outpost. It contained hegemony fleet movements and defense codes, not the first such message he had sent. On the human colony world of New Terra, a captured Vesperi commander awaited execution. Admiral Kenzo Chen personally interrogated him. Why did you attack us? She demanded. The real reason. The Vesperi's compound eyes reflected the harsh light. You don't understand. The attack was not approved by our full government. A secret faction within the hegemony orchestrated everything. Kenzo leaned closer. What faction? They call themselves the Guardians of the Gate. They believe humans are the key to an ancient prophecy, that you will unlock something terrible. The alien's mandibles clicked nervously. There are predecessor ruins that speak of human DNA activating their old technology. Technology that could destroy stars. Why tell me this now? Kenzo asked suspiciously. Because the Guardians have deployed planet killers. They're targeting all human colonies. The Vesperi lowered his voice. And they found something. A predecessor vault with technology beyond anything we've seen. Kenzo immediately called an emergency meeting. If the alien was telling the truth, everything had changed. Humanity needed to find this vault before their enemies did. The scattered humans were about to reunite for a mission that would change the course of the war. Dr. Marcus Way's shuttle approached the forbidden world of Xantos IV. His mostly mechanical body hummed with power as he prepared his team for the mission. Remember, he told the 5 enhanced soldiers with him, this planet is under hegemony quarantine. No one goes in or out. The vault is supposedly hidden beneath the northern mountain range. The team wore stealth suits that bent light around them, making them nearly invisible. Their enhanced bodies allowed them to move with unnatural speed and silence. What exactly are we looking for, Doctor? Asked Captain Rivera, the team leader. According to our intelligence from the archivist, this vault contains predecessor technology that could end the war. Way's artificial eyes glowed faintly, and answers about who we really are. They landed under cover of darkness. The planet's surface was dotted with ancient ruins, crumbling structures built by a civilization long gone. Hegemony guard posts were scattered throughout the area, but the human team slipped past them easily. Using coordinates provided by the archivist, they located the entrance to the vault, a massive door embedded in the mountainside, covered with strange symbols. These matched the genetic markers in human DNA, Way said, studying the patterns. He pressed his hand against a central panel. The door hummed to life, responding to his touch in a way it never would for alien species. Inside, they found a vast chamber filled with technology beyond their understanding. At the center stood a holographic display that activated as they approached. A figure appeared, humanoid but clearly not human. Taller, with elongated features and eyes that glowed with inner light. "Greetings, children," the figure said in perfect English. "If you are viewing this message, then our experiment succeeded." We stepped forward. "Who are you?" "We were the predecessors. You would call us your ancestors." The figure gestured, and the room filled with holographic star maps. "Once we ruled the galaxy. But we created something we could not control, a machine intelligence that turned against us." The hologram showed terrifying machines destroying entire planets. We could not defeat the harvesters, so we hid. We engineered ourselves into simpler forms, hiding our true nature even from ourselves. We became you, humans. Captain Rivera shook her head in disbelief. "Why make ourselves weaker?" "To hide. The harvesters hunt advanced neural patterns similar to our own. By simplifying ourselves and starting over on an isolated world, we escaped detection." The hologram paused. "But we left markers in your DNA to eventually reactivate. Your neural architecture is already evolving back toward our original pattern." Wei understood now. That's why we can integrate with technology better than other species. That's what the aliens fear. Yes, some knew the old stories. They fear your return because the harvesters will follow. The hologram expanded, showing designs for advanced ships and weapons. "But we also left you the means to fight. This vault contains coordinates to other predecessor sites and blueprints for technologies including the Singularity Gate, a weapon that can seal the dimensional rifts the harvesters use to travel." As Wei's team downloaded the data, alarms sounded. Hegemony forces had discovered their presence. "We need to go," urged Captain Rivera. But as they turned to leave, a figure blocked their path, the Tellurian archivist himself. "I had to meet you in person," he said calmly. "My people have waited centuries for humanity's return." Admiral Kenzo Chen stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Retribution Asterisk. Around her, a fleet of 300 human warships prepared for the assault on the Vesperi homeworld. "All ships report ready, Admiral," her executive officer announced. Kenzo nodded. The new warships incorporated predecessor technology recovered from vaults across the galaxy. They were faster, stronger, and more deadly than anything humans had built before. "Open broadcast channels to all hegemony frequencies," she ordered. "I want everyone to see what happens next." Across the galaxy, communication systems were hijacked. On thousands of alien worlds, screens showed the human fleet approaching Vespera. "This is Admiral Kenzo Chen of the Terran Dominion," she announced, her voice calm but hard as steel. 6 years ago, your species launched an unprovoked attack on Earth. You poisoned our world and murdered billions of innocent people. The fleet moved into attack formation. Today, we bring the consequences. The battle for Vespera lasted just 3 days. Human forces struck with precision and overwhelming force. The neural-linked pilots anticipated every defensive move. Dr. Wei's enhanced soldiers, nearly unstoppable in combat, landed on the surface and targeted military installations. No civilian targets were attacked, a deliberate choice by Kenzo. This wasn't about revenge against innocent Vesperi. This was about justice for Earth. When it ended, the Vesperi military was destroyed, their government buildings in ruins. 5 other hegemony species immediately transmitted surrender terms, offering reparations and territory. In the aftermath, the Terran leadership gathered on the new human capital world, Novaterra. Representatives from 20 colony worlds attended in person or via hologram. "The Terran imperative is now in effect," announced General Harris, his face lined with age and hardship. "Any species that participated in Earth's destruction will face similar consequences. Any species that aided humanity or remained neutral will be spared." Dr. Wei, His mechanical body, now housing a consciousness that was more digital than organic, displayed the data recovered from predecessor vaults. "The Singularity Gate is nearly complete," he reported. "We've built it in the Arcturus system, away from populated areas." The Tellurian archivist stepped forward. The blue-skinned alien had become a trusted advisor to human leadership. "Time grows short," he warned. "Our deep space sensors have detected anomalies at the edge of the galaxy. The harvesters are returning, just as the prophecy foretold." He activated a hologram showing massive machine entities, miles long, moving through space. "The predecessors, your ancestors, flowed from these beings. They will detect your neural signatures and come for you." His large eyes looked troubled. "The Singularity Gate can seal their entry point, but at terrible cost." "What cost?" asked Kenzo. "Using the gate requires sacrificing an entire star system," the archivist explained. "And it needs thousands of humans with neural interfaces to operate it. A one-way mission." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The remaining hegemony forces were gathering for a final stand. But the true threat was approaching from beyond. An enemy that had once driven their ancestors to hide by transforming themselves into a less advanced species. Humanity faced a choice: continue their war of vengeance against the hegemony, or prepare to face the harvesters, a threat to all life in the galaxy. 10 years after first contact, humanity stood at a crossroads. The Terran Dominion now controlled a third of former hegemony space. Admiral Kenzo Chen looked out at the gathered representatives in the council chamber on Nova Terra. Former enemies sat alongside human leaders. The Vesperi ambassador, mandibles clicking nervously, avoided eye contact. The remaining hegemony species had sent envoys to discuss peace. "A harvester vanguard will reach our galaxy within 3 months, Kenzo announced. "We face extinction, not just humans, but all organic life." The chamber erupted in voices. Some human factions demanded the complete defeat of all former enemies before addressing this new threat. Others argued for immediate alliance against the greater danger. Dr. Marcus White entered the chamber. His consciousness now existed primarily in digital form, housed in an advanced mechanical body. Behind him floated holographic displays of the completed Singularity Gate, a massive structure built around a dying star in the Arcturus system. "The gate is operational," he stated, his synthetic voice echoing in the suddenly quiet room. "When activated, it will create a dimensional barrier that the harvesters cannot cross." The Tellurian archivist stepped forward, "But the cost will be enormous. The gate requires the energy of a collapsing star and the neural patterns of thousands of volunteers. Those who interface with the gate will not survive. Why should we protect the species that try to destroy us?" demanded a human general, his cybernetic eye glowing with anger. Kenzo walked to the center of the chamber. "Because that's what makes us different from them. Because my mother didn't sacrifice herself so we could become the monsters of this galaxy." She activated a display showing Earth, still scared and poisoned, but with small signs of recovery. "We fought because we had to survive. Now we fight for something greater." When the vote came, it was nearly unanimous. The Terran Dominion would defend the galaxy, even those who once sought to destroy them. 3 months later, the first harvester ships appeared at the galaxy's edge. Massive mechanical entities that consumed everything in their path. Planets were stripped for resources, organic life harvested for energy. The Dominion fleet, alongside former hegemony ships, engaged the enemy in a desperate holding action. They needed to buy time for the Singularity Gate to charge. At the gate, 3,000 volunteers, humans with neural interfaces, prepared for the final sequence. Dr. Wei, his consciousness uploaded to the gate systems, would guide them. "Begin final activation," he instructed. "Channel your thoughts as one." The dying star at the center of the gate began to collapse. Energy surged through the massive structure. In her flagship, Admiral Kenzo Chen watched the distant flash as the Arcturus system vanished in blinding light. A wave of energy spread outward, creating a dimensional barrier that swept the harvesters from existence. The cost was grievous. Thousands of volunteers, an entire star system, and countless lives lost in the delaying action. But the galaxy survived. In the aftermath, a new alliance formed. The Galactic Compact, with humanity at its center, not as conquerors but as guardians. Throughout civilized space, species still whispered humanity's name, no longer in terror, but in reverent gratitude tinged with lingering fear. For they knew what humans could become when threatened, and they had seen humanity's capacity for both vengeance and mercy. And they remembered the ancient human saying now inscribed at the Compact's founding monument: never again.